How's it going, everyone? So, I'm on the World Economic Forum again, and I'm going to read an article. We'll go through it together because I haven't actually read it yet. I got someone sent it to me. So, it's basically, as you know, about the World Economic Forum. We've got Davos 2021 here. Actually, the Davos agenda. This is new. I'll look at that after, actually. But what we're going to read first is the sec. This article. So here's how life could change in my city by the year 2030. So we've got some city here. I don't know where it is. If anyone could tell me, that would be great. Not like I'm bothered, but so welcome to the year 2030. Welcome to my city, or should I say our city. I don't own anything. And this is from the World Economic Forum. This is part of their agenda, obviously. I don't own anything. What's happened here? I don't own a car. I don't own a house. I don't own any appliances or any clothes. What? You're telling me that you will rent clothes? You don't even own clothes? That is horrendous. That is fucking horrendous. That's scary. So you will own, when they mean you will own nothing, is literally you will own nothing. You won't have anything because I assume you'll rent it. It might seem odd to you, but it makes perfect sense for us in this city. Yeah, brainwashed. That's what they want everyone to think. It makes perfect sense. They'll come up with an excuse, and everyone will follow it. Everything you considered a product has now become a service. We have access to transportation, accommodation, food, and all the things we need in our daily lives. Obviously from the state, from the governments, or the people that run it at the time. So they probably own everything and they give you access to it all. But at what cost? Do you know what I mean? One by one, all these things become free. That's interesting. Free? Free? Nothing is free. Right? Nothing's free. All this will probably be part of the social credit system where you're rated on everything you do, which is what's come out in China. One by one, all these things become free. So it ended up not making sense to us to own much. So they want everyone on the same universal basic income. That's what the World Economic Forum's agenda is, obviously. Sorry, guys, I've got the CV. No, I'm kidding out, really. So yeah, that's what they want, everyone living on a universal basic income. So everyone's the same. And everything, you can't really speak out because they own everything that you're using. And if you speak out, they can just take it away from you. It's as simple as that. That's what I'm reading this. Doesn't seem very utopic now, does it? So you won't own much. You won't have anything. It will all be owned by the state. So basically communism. First, communications become digitalised and free to everyone. Yep, digitalised and free to everyone. I doubt that. Well, yeah, I think that's what they want, and I think that's probably where it's heading if we're not careful. Definitely. But it's not going to be free. You're going to have to do things. You're going to have to, I don't know, be on the side with the state and the government and all that. You're going to have to comply to get the free things. Things started to move quickly. Transportation dropped dramatically in price. It made no sense for us to own cars anymore. Yeah, that's what they want. They're aiming for that, isn't it? Part of the climate change agenda. Sustainable development goals. It all makes sense. It all makes sense with the World Economic Forum and all the even the WHO and the United Nations to sustainable development. It's all working together to achieve this dystopic new world order. Where am I? So yeah, it might see. Where am I? Transportation dropped dramatically in price. It made no sense for us to own cars anymore because we could all call a driverless vehicle. So yep, everything's run and controlled. Or a flying car. For longer journeys within minutes. I think if anything, that's either not going to happen or it's much further down the line. But I can see driverless vehicles becoming a thing, definitely, within the next 10 years. For longer journeys within minutes. We started transporting ourselves in a much more organised. Yep, organised. That word is interesting, how they use that word. And coordinated. So everything's controlled, as you can see already. Transportation's controlled, so you controlled where you go. Basically, you've got to be in the city. If you're out in the countryside, well, I suppose it's kind of like a Hunger Games society. Now, I can hardly believe that we accepted congestion and traffic jams, not to mention the air pollution from combustion engines. What were we thinking? Sometimes I use my bike. I think that's what it's going to be, They're going to get everyone, when they ban all these petrol and diesel cars by 2030 in the UK. I mean, that's crazy. That's only 9 years away, not that long. When they get everyone, from that, people's cheating the universal basic income, for the time being, I think most people are going to resort to bikes if we're not careful. I think that's where they want everyone. So if you take your bike or public transport, that's the only options for travelling. And it's all controlled. Sometimes I use my bike when I go to some of my friends. I enjoy the exercise and the ride. It kind of gets the soul to come along with the journey. It's funny how some things never seem to lose their excitement. Walking, biking and cooking, drawing and growing plants. It makes perfect sense and reminds us of how our cultures emerge out of a close relationship with nature. Environmental problems seem far away. See, this environmental problems things, what's happened with all these lockdowns is obviously you've got less emissions burning off, and it suits their agenda massively because, it's kind of working in it where people aren't travelling anymore. In our city, we don't pay any rent. Wow. So how you don't pay any rent? That sounds like a utopia, that, but I think there's something else. I think there's a catch to that, definitely. And I think it's the social credit system. They haven't mentioned that in this so far. Because someone else is using our free space whenever we do not need it. My living room is used for business meetings when I am not there. Interesting. Once in a while, I will choose to cook for myself. It is easy. The necessary kitchen equipment is delivered at my door within minutes. Jesus. Wow. Jeez. That is insane. So basically, if you wanted to order something, it'll be delivered to your door, probably by a drone. I think that's where they're aiming. And it'll be all the smart grid. This is the smart grid, guys. Everything on this is controlled through the smart grid. That's what it is. Since transport became free, we stopped having all those things stuffed in our homes. Yeah. You're probably forced to have less stuff. They'll probably make it illegal to have too much stuff in your home. That's what will be the next thing. Because it would be deemed unfit, quote unquote, unfit for living standards. Why keep a pasta maker and a crepe cooker cramped into a cupboard? We just order them when we need them. This also made the breakthrough of the circular economy easier when products are turned into services. No one has an interest in things with a short lifespan. No. Thing is now, the stuff we own, whether you have a smartphone or a tablet, it's not meant to last, is it? They've done it deliberately, so you will end up buying more. But, the stuff there won't probably last 10 years because, stuff like the newer equipment, smart TVs, smartphones, they're not meant to last. They're eventually meant to break, so you buy the next one. That's how it works at the moment. So what happens with all these smartphones and smart TVs that you own by 2030? That's interesting to know. Everything is designed for durability, repairability, and recyclability. The materials are flowing more quickly in our economy and can be transformed to new products pretty easily. Environmental problems seem far away since we only use clean energy and clean production methods. The air is clean, the water is clean, and nobody would dare to touch the protected areas of nature. Nobody would dare. That's interesting. No one would dare. Why would no one dare? What are they gonna do if you touch the protected areas of nature? What is their punishment for that if nobody would dare? Sounds very dystopic already. Yeah, very dictatorship-ish. Because they constitute such value to our well-being. In the cities, we have plenty of green space and plants. That's what they're creating. So you don't have to go to the countryside anymore. You don't have to travel because everything's in the smart cities. Everything's in the smart cities, so you don't have to travel far. Yeah, that's what they want. They want everyone living in closed spaces in one area to control the population more. In the cities, we have plenty of green, blah, blah, blah. I still do not understand why in the past we filled all our spots in the city with concrete. The death of shopping. This is an interesting one. What's happening now? All the small businesses, all the shops and everything on the high street are getting closed. On the high streets in the city centres and town centres, shopping malls. You know, they're all closing down. All the businesses are closing down. So it's already happening, the death of shopping. Shopping, I can't really remember what that is. Interesting. Did you take the jab? Is that what's caused your brain to not function properly? No, I'm kidding. For most of us, it has been turned into closing things to use. Sometimes I find this fun, and sometimes I just want the algorithm to do it for me. So basically, AI to do it for you. So the AI basically controls your life. That's what it will be. This is the smart cities agenda. I'll actually show you after I've read this article before I show you the other Davos 2021 thing, which I haven't actually looked at yet. So yeah, when AI and robots took over so much of our work, we suddenly had time to eat well, sleep well, and spend time with other people. Virtually, maybe? Probably not. You know, where we're heading, it's probably going to be virtually, innit? Because from what I've read on articles before, especially from the BBC News did one, we're still going to be in the lockdowns in 2025, for Christ's sake. So yeah, that'll probably be virtually from your home, but not actually with people, not having like proper connections. Sleep well and eat well. Eat well's probably just going to be propaganda, thinking that you're eating well. Sleeping well, I don't know about that. Seems a bit far-fetched, if I'm honest. See, the thing is, they're making it out like you're not going to do much, but I think there's a catch to this. I think it's how you behave. Everything's going to be decided on how you behave in society and how you contribute to society. And I think that's where we're going, like the Chinese social credit system. I think that's what it's all going to be who's going to be running everything. The concept of rush hour makes no sense anymore, since the work that we do can be done at any time. I don't really know if I would call it work anymore. It is more like thinking time, creation time, and development time. For a while, everything was turned into entertainment and people did not want to bother themselves with difficult issues. It was only at the last minute that we found out how to use all these new technologies better purpose than killing time. So they're basically talking about virtual. Everything's going to be virtual and everything's going to be technological. So it's a technological dictatorship. That's what I'm getting at this. They live different kinds of lives outside the city. Now, this reminds me of the Hunger Games society, where you've got the districts. You know, when you saw Joe Biden and all the people at his rally looked like frigging people dressed in Hunger Games, and you had Lady Gaga with the Mockingjay. Predictive programming at its best. My biggest concern is all the people who do not live in our city. Well, how come? Those we lost on the way. Now that is interesting. 2030, Agenda 2030, depopulation goal. To depopulate. So yeah, there's obviously going to be some depopulation by then, reading that bit. Those who decided that it became too much, all this technology, those who felt obsolete, yeah, I guess that'll be a lot of us, guys, are useless when robots and AI took over big parts of our jobs. Those who got upset with the political system and turned against it. Yeah, reminds me of something. They live different kinds of lives outside the city. Some have formed self-supplying communities, others just stayed in the empty and abandoned houses in small 19th century villages. What the fuck? What the actual fuck? I can't believe what I'm reading. This just reminds me of the Hunger Games so much. Really does. Yeah, it's like you say most people are going to be living in the smart cities. Once in a while, I get annoyed about the fact that I have no real privacy. I mean, that's already a thing, isn't it? Nobody has privacy anymore. And especially now, they want, all these health passports and everything. Nowhere I can go and not be registered. I know that somewhere everything I do, think, and dream of is recorded. What the actual fuck? That is creepy and that's fucking weird. That is fucking weird. Everything I do, think, and dream of is recorded. What the? That is just unbelievable. No free privacy thought anymore by the looks of this in 2030, a World Economic Forum. Even your dreams and what you think is recorded. Are you what? Guys, this is the World Economic Forum. This is not a conspiracy theory. This is not a conspiracy theory. This is where we're going. And people think I'm crazy when I say stuff. They've got the technology to read your minds. They fucking haven't. They've had it for years. Look at what Davos and all these, these, what, no, not Davos, what's it called? Harper and fucking, what's the other one? No, DARPA. Is it DARPA? Yeah, DARPA. And the stuff they're involved. Everything I do, think, and dream is recorded. I just hope that nobody will use it against me. So blackmailing. Free thought anymore, guys. You can't think for yourselves. You've only got to think what the government say. All in all, it is a good life, much better than the past we were on. Probably compared to now and probably what's going to happen between now and 2030, which will lead to this. Where it becomes so clear that we could not continue with the same model of growth. We had all these terrible things happening. Lifestyle diseases now, that's happening. Climate change, yeah, we've got to talk on that. The refugee crisis. I think that's going to become more apparent from what we're told about, like Klaus Schwab and other people. Environmental degradation, completely congested cities, water pollution, air pollution, that's already kind of been solved because no one's travelling anywhere in their eyes. Social unrest and unemployment, that's happening now. We lost way too many people before we realised that we could do things differently. Arthur's note. Some people have read this blog as my utopia of dreams of future. It is not. Straight there saying it is not. Because it won't be. They'll sell it as a utopia dream. And a lot of people will fall for it, obviously. From the way people think these days anyway, especially. And he's just gone out to say it is not. It is a scenario showing where we could be heading. I think that is where we are heading. When you look at everything and the sustainable development goals, that is where we're heading. The smart cities, that is where we're heading. For better or for worse, and for worse, I wrote this piece to start a discussion about some pros and cons. This is on the actual World Economic Forum. So, yeah, this is where we're going. This is where they want to take us. And the current technological development. When we are dealing with the future, it is not enough to work with reports. We should start discussions in many new ways. This is the intention with this piece. So yeah, I'm just going to show you something quick, guys. So here we've got Smart Cities UK 2020. Smart Cities UK is a new national engagement programme. Smart Cities UK aims to establish itself as a forum, like the World Economic Forum, for example, for learning amongst UK cities and towns who seek to gain understanding. This will be in every country, in most countries around the world as well. The United States, Australia, Ireland, Canada, France, Japan, it'll be everywhere. I mean, Tokyo's kind of already a smart city. I think that was one of the guinea pig cities. Smart Cities UK was established in 2014, the annual conference. In 2006, we introduced the international awards, which aim to encourage best practice and recognise progress made on a smart city development. To date, we have been awarded 20 organisations who have demonstrated impact and when accelerating economic and social outcomes within a town, city, or country. Since establishing the Smart City UK conference, we have monitored the UK's progress on smart approaches to economic and social improvement. Although there has been a clear example of initiatives being implemented across the country, there is still significant there's still significant gap in knowledge and understanding of defining a smart city, especially among local authorities. In recent years, the term smart cities has been lost in translation. The economic cuts within the cities and towns, along with the CV, has further added stagnation in smart development, with several local authorities shelving plans to take forward projects. Yes, obviously this has furthered their agenda. So yeah, they've got that. Trying to find the one that I found that I was going to show you. Here we go. Yeah, all the big cities. UK's current smart city development examples. We've got Bristol, London, Manchester, Birmingham, Leeds, Milton Keynes, Glasgow, Nottingham, Peterborough, Cambridge, Oxford, Aberdeen, Edinburgh, Newcastle, Belfast, Sheffield, Reading, Liverpool. All the big cities, basically. No Cardiff on there. However, Cardiff has developed their city in Wales. They've got their own smart city happening now, with all the skyscrapers going up. So yeah, one that I find interesting with this is Milton Keynes. They've already got robots roaming the streets in Milton Keynes, delivering CV medicine. I've seen that, and even food. MK Futures 20. In fact, I've got someone in my family that has seen one roaming the streets of Milton Keynes when he's worked down there. MK Futures 2050. Yeah. So back to the World Economic Forum. We're just going to look at Davos 2021 because I knew they were doing a meeting there. Someone in the comments said that there were 25th of January to 2021. I'm not going to. I'll probably watch it in a bit and I'll probably do a video on it. CV has put a spotlight on the long-standing weakness of health systems across the globe. This leadership panel examines for how government and business leaders can tackle the root causes of healthcare injustice and ensure accessible and affordable healthcare for all. Okay. I'll leave it there, guys, anyway. But yeah, they've had a meeting, obviously. I wonder what actually it's about and if they've got anything else planned, because, as you know, Davos, that's where all these billionaires meet, and interesting stuff goes on there. Anyway, thanks, guys.